Time to take away those smartphones. A new study has linked excessive gaming, watching TV, or time spent on smartphones to anxiety and depression in kids as young as 2. Research published in Preventive Medicine Reports found that children and teens may have less curiosity, self-control, emotional stability, and a greater inability to finish tasks after just an hour of screen time a day. Researchers analyzed a random sample of over 40,000 surveys from the 2016 National Survey of Children's Health, which looked at kids aged 2 to 17. Adolescents face the highest risk. Those who spent more than 7 hours a day on screens were twice as likely to be diagnosed with anxiety and depression than those who spent only an hour. But younger kids and toddlers whose brains are still developing were also affected. Preschoolers with high screen use were twice as likely to lose their temper. 46% of youngsters were also more likely to not be able to calm down once excited. The findings validate the daily screen time limit set by the American Academy of Pediatrics, 1 hour for ages 2 to 5 and 2 for school-aged kids and adolescents. Raising kids in this day and age is tough.
Texas girl gets fidget spinner parts stuck in her throat. The fidget spinner, a creation from the 90s, has somehow made its way back into mainstream popularity. The handheld toy is arguably even more popular than when Tamagotchi and Beanie Babies were all the rage. Fidget spinners are now one of the top 10 best-selling toys on Amazon. However, the toy, which spins and lets the user do tricks, has been getting attention for the wrong reasons. A 10-year-old girl in Houston, Texas made headlines when she accidentally swallowed a section of the toy and then began choking on it. According to Kelly Rose Joniak, she and her daughter Britton were in the car when Kelly noticed Britton's face turning red. Britton began drooling as she pointed to her throat and indicated she had swallowed something. The 10-year-old later told her mom that she put a part of the fidget spinner in her mouth to clean it, but somehow managed to swallow it. Kelly rushed her daughter to a children's hospital, where doctors were fortunately able to dislodge the toy's bearing from the girl's esophagus without problems. In light of the incident, Kelly now wants to warn parents with young kids to be aware of the toy's choking hazards, as it doesn't always come with warning labels, and the bearings can easily come apart from the spinner itself.
Whoa, that's scary. Lacey Grace, a Florida mother, is sharing her daughter's story in the hopes it will save the life of another child from dry drowning. Earlier this month, 4-year-old Eliana Grace was enjoying some swimming time at her grandparents' house in Sarasota, Florida. At the time, Eliana was playing with a pool noodle. While playing in the pool, Eliana's mouth was reportedly around the toy when someone else simultaneously blew through the other end, causing water to shoot directly down Eliana's throat. The child immediately vomited, but 30 minutes later, she appeared normal again. Eliana later developed a fever, which eventually subsided. A couple of days later, the fever returned. When Eliana's mother took her to the doctor, she was advised to go to the nearest emergency room immediately. Eliana's heart rate was reportedly running high, her oxygen level was low, and her skin was turning purple. A chest X-ray shows she was suffering from inflammation and an infection from chemicals in the swimming pool. It turns out that Eliana had aspiration pneumonia, also known as dry drowning, a condition that occurs when someone inhales water through the mouth or nose, causing water to enter the lungs. Lacey says she read an article a year earlier about a Texas boy the same age as Eliana who died from dry drowning, which made her think twice about brushing off her daughter's condition as a common fever children sometimes get. An updated Facebook post from Lacey showed Eliana in her hospital bed smiling and showing a thumbs up sign. She's now recovering at home and expected to be just fine. Who knew a mosquito bite could be so deadly? USA Today reports a woman is making the plight of her 6-year-old son public as a warning to other parents after he contracted La Crosse encephalitis from a mosquito bite. In a post on social media, Lorianne Surratt talks about how Noah, her son, had to spend 6 weeks at the hospital to fight the virus. A human contracts the La Crosse encephalitis virus when an infected mosquito bites them. The virus can cause inflammation of the brain as fluids build up. According to the CDC, symptoms usually take up to 1 to 2 weeks to show up and may include fever and headaches. In more severe cases, symptoms may also include nausea, vomiting, and even seizures. The CDC says the most effective way to reduce the chance of being infected with the virus is to use insect repellents which contain DEET, picaridin, or similar ingredients. The CDC also says there's no specific treatment for La Crosse encephalitis as antibiotics aren't effective against the virus. However, if the illness is severe, it may be treated with supportive therapy, IV fluids, along with respiratory support, which is how Noah was treated. So, don't drink and breastfeed. A recently published study found that children exposed to alcohol through breast milk may have reduced cognitive abilities. CBS News reports in the study, breastfeeding moms were asked about their alcohol consumption and their smoking habits. The study then tested the children of these mothers on vocabulary, nonverbal reasoning, and cognitive processing every 2 years until the age of 11. Children of mothers who drank were shown to have lower test scores than those who didn't from age 6 to 7. However, the effects don't seem to be long-lasting, as the same results weren't seen when the children turned 10 to 11. Dr. Alyssa Rubin, medical director of Happy and Healthy Pediatrics, told CBS News that a mother should not breastfeed if she feels any of the effects of alcohol in her system. However, Dr. Rubin said an occasional glass of wine is fine as long as women drink water and eat a full meal afterward. Smoking didn't appear to have an effect on children's cognitive ability. However, researchers warn it's still not a good idea to smoke.
Want kids with more brain power? An observational study has found that 2 hours of recreational screen time a day, along with more sleep, is linked to improved cognition in children. For children aged 8 to 11, the Canadian 24-hour movement guidelines recommends 9 to 11 hours of sleep per night, less than 2 hours of screen time, and an hour of physical activity a day. But a study of 4,520 US children found that only 5% met all three recommendations, while 41% met at least one guideline, 25% met two, and 29% met none at all. On average, American kids slept 9.1 hours per night, had 3.6 hours of recreational screen time per day, and 3.7 hours of physical activity per week. According to the findings, screen time and sleep had the strongest link to improved cognition, and kids with more than 2 hours of screen time had poorer development. Researchers say parents should manage screen time and suggest encouraging more physical activity and tech-free zones.
Household disinfectants could be linked to child obesity. Here's another reason why some of your kids may look like walking blimps. According to a new study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal, commonly used household disinfectants and multi-surface cleaners could be making children overweight by affecting their gut bacteria. According to CNN, researchers collected stool samples from 757 infants, analyzed their body mass index at older ages, and parental use of disinfectant products. Higher levels of lactospiraceae bacteria in animal studies have been associated with higher body fat. The study found infants living in households where antimicrobial disinfectants were used at least once a week were twice as likely to have elevated levels of lactospiraceae at ages 3 to 4 months old than children whose homes did not use disinfectants frequently. While the team found an increase in lactospiraceae with increased antimicrobial disinfectants, they did not find the same association in disinfectants without the bacteria-killing ingredients or eco-friendly cleaners. This suggests an association between disinfectant use and the overweight. Though the results show a connection between disinfectants and the gut microbiome, it does not imply causation. Further studies need to be carried out to establish a causal relationship.